Chapter 20 Chaos. While the apples had many visitors, not many of them came in wielding large axes. Big Macintosh took a step back, but eventually held his ground as the unicorn stallion advanced on him. "Where's Applejack?"
"Who are you?"
Big Mac demanded. The question got its answer when Spike and the fillies, attracted by the noise, came around from the other side of the room. "Shining armor?" The unicorn smiled, the bloodlust actually leaving his voice and expression. "Hey, Spike, do you know where your mother is?" "Twilight's not my mom, and according to her last message, she's in Manhattan." "Is Applejack with her?" "Yeah." The anger returned. "Good. Then I can cut that farm pony up for defiling my sister." And then Big Mac roared.
"Okay, you are."
"And what are you gonna do to stop me?"
"This."
Big Mac lunged at Shining Armor, but the unicorn showed more foresight and conjured up a shield that the Earth Pony struck. Still, as he slid down it, he beat at the barrier with his hooves, determined to stop the pony within. Shining Armor didn't give him the chance. Ignoring Applebloom's cry of "kick his plot, Big Mac," he undid the shield and ran back toward the chariot he had parked 100 feet away. Big Mac gave chase, and while he was pretty fast, Shining Armor was in his seat and taking off before he could reach him. "Dear, please don't do this. Twilight!" As the chariot sped off, Big Mac began to chase after it, yelling profanities all the while. After 100 feet, he stopped and fumed. He had to get to Manhattan, protect his sister. Then he got an idea. In a hurry, he raced off. The 5 fillies and Spike had watched the scene in silence. It was Diamond Tiara who broke the silence. Aren't you gonna go with him?" Applebloom looked at her rival. "Huh? Why? Don't you want to stop him from hurting your sister?" The young farm pony scoffed. "Please, my sister's the strongest pony I know, other than my brother, and with Twilight there, I doubt he'll get anywhere near her. Let's just go swimming in the lake." Rarity had never been more grateful to get to any destination than she had been that day. The ride from Canterlot to Manhattan had been an awkward one, with several bits of small talk that only left the rift between them even wider than when they had left. True to his word, Blue Blood had taken the bed and left her with the couch. However, much to her surprise, he had promised he'd take the couch on night 2. He had also, through much stuttering, tried to offer to share the bed, but it was so awkward he couldn't finish. It was surreal. As horrid as Blue Blood had been, he was always a smooth talker and completely sure of himself. This stuttering, awkward mess was kind of unnerving. Deciding she needed time apart from Blue Blood, she opted to take a walk. Some time alone would do her good. Well, not completely alone. 2 stallions were shadowing her at all times, no doubt royal guards in disguise, but they wouldn't interfere with her thinking. Blue Blood was on edge, no doubt about it. Rarity had been content to let the matter drop, but it had so easily set him off. She should do something, right? It would be intrusive, but Blue Blood needed it. Then again, Celestia and the others in the palace had made an effort to get through to him, and failed. They obviously knew him better than she did. Despite the last few days, she was an outsider to him. And with his beastly behavior, he certainly deserved to be miserable. As she crossed the lobby, she mentally chastised herself. No pony deserved to be miserable. But what could she do that Celestia couldn't? Then, a thought occurred to her. She really only had Blue Blood's word that Celestia had tried anything. Was the princess even aware of the problem? She was good at reading ponies, but having a country to run might have left her with her blind spots. That's a start. When they returned to Canterlot, she'd have tea with the princess and tell her of her suspicions. Then she'd get Celestia's side of the story and... You! Rarity was snapped out of her thoughts by that one word. She looked and saw Twilight and Applejack standing at the entrance of the hotel, glaring at her. "Twilight? Applejack? What are you two—" "Save it, changeling!" There were gasps, as every pony began giving Rarity a wide berth. The unicorn's eyes widened. What? The real Rarity would never date Blue Blood, Applejack said, advancing forward with her wife. Twilight's horn began glowing. Rarity backed up. Wait, I can explain. Twilight hesitated, remembering her brother's wedding. Fine. Answer a question only the real Rarity could answer. The white unicorn brightened up. Ask away. Spike told you his favorite food just before the party. What was it? Oh boy, Rarity. Twilight told me Scootaloo's mom, who I didn't think existed, got instructions on how to make... Oh, this poor boy Spike. When are you going to get over this little puppy love? You're simply too young for me. Now, that Trenderhoof... Unless I miss my guess, he's a catch. Oh, what I'd like to do with him. Twilight's horn lit up again. Wait! Ask me something else! Twilight sighed. Fine. Who's my favorite historical character? What do you mean you don't recognize my costume? He's only set the stage for every magical discovery ever. Twilight, dear, your brains are admirable, but you simply must get out more. You look fantastic, and you look even better dressed up. You should have stallions banging down your door. I wish you'd join me on speed dating. Again, Twilight's horn lit up. Wait, one more chance. What's your mother's maiden name? After a moment of silence, Rarity spoke. Pass? Twilight's beam was fired. Rarity dodged and immediately began fleeing. Blue Blood, help! After her! Rarity scrambled for the elevators before remembering that was a bad idea and heading for the stairs. Twilight and Applejack followed. As they did, 2 guards that had been watching over Rarity looked on.
You think we should do something? Do you want to take on the princess's personal student? Good point.
Rarity scrambled up the stairs with Applejack right behind her. Thankfully, Twilight wasn't as fast, and she wasn't willing to risk another shot if it meant she might hit Applejack. The farm pony was fast, but thankfully, so was Rarity. Not quite fast enough to outrun her friend, but enough to get back to Blue Blood. Maybe he could sort this out. Get back here! Rarity ran. Look, Applejack, I'm Rarity, I swear! I ain't falling for that again, the cow pony yelled. Twilight was right the last time she said a changeling was around. Rarity cried and ran. Much to her relief, fear provided a good adrenaline rush. It wasn't long before she reached the suite. Blue Blood, help! The prince in question looked up from the paperwork he was doing. Before he could ask anything, Applejack burst in. What in Celestia's name? Stay away from her, Applejack yelled. She's a changeling in disguise. What? No, she's... A purple aura engulfed Blue Blood. Twilight had entered. Don't worry, I'll put you somewhere safe, Twilight yelled. No, wait! Twilight opened a closet and shoved Blue Blood in, slamming the door and sealing it with magic. Now you have no shield to hide behind. No, wait! Twilight shot out another blast. This one was barely dodged, hitting the wall behind it and leaving a large hole that the guests in the room behind them peeped through. Rarity's survival instincts kicked in, and she was through the hole and out the door on the other side before Twilight could recover from her spent energy. Applejack, however, was not restrained by any such fatigue. She leapt through after her. She had made it to the door and was about to turn the corner when she ran into a strong barrier. She shook off the ringing in her head to see... Shannon armor? The bulky unicorn just glared at her. Good, you're here. We got a changeling on the run and... Shining Armor lifted his axe. Applejack got quiet. Shanny? You corrupted my sister! Applejack's eyes widened. Wait! Shiny! Gah! Gah! Applejack barely dodged the axe. Yelling in terror, she bolted in the other direction, with Shining Armor following. Sadly, Applejack turned into another hallway, which is why Twilight didn't see her leave as she entered the hallway in search of her target. Blue Blood was a lot stronger than most ponies gave him credit for, and with a few good kicks, he managed to get the closet door knocked down. Thankfully, Twilight's rush job, while better than what many unicorns could have done in the same situation, was still not up to par with what it should have been. He saw the hole in the wall and groaned, hitting his hoof with his forehead. His mind was racing. Twilight had probably ruined everything. He needed to save Rarity and get the guards to swarm the hotel and search it in case the changelings were here. He needed to find a window and... A loud crash caused him to jump 3 feet in the air. His hotel wall had been busted through by what appeared to be a pedaled flying machine, and at its controls was a pink earth pony that Blue Blood recognized as one of the bearers. "We're here!" A large red earth pony jumped off the back.
"Where is he?"
Blue Blood blinked. "Who are you?"
"I'm here to stop Shining Armor from hurting my sister."
Blue Blood saw the apple on his flank and put 2 and 2 together. "Oh, I'm guessing your sister went that way," he responded, waving a hoof toward the first hole. "While you're at it, could you stop her from killing Rarity? She thinks she's a changeling in disguise." Big Macintosh charged after his sister. Blue Blood, meanwhile, went over to the hole he had made in the wall and shot a spell from his horn. The light lit up the sky, and he knew his soldiers would start moving. Smiling, he turned back into the room and was surprised to see Pinky still there, looking at him with wide eyes. Hi? So, are you really dating Rarity? Is Rarity a changeling? Are you on the misunderstanding part of your relationship? No, we're not, and no, she's not. This was a plot to catch changelings that your friends ruined. Aren't you worried about them? Not really. They can take care of themselves. Gah! Help! Applejack ran down the hallway, followed by Shining Armor. Ah! Help! Rarity ran down the perpendicular hallway, followed by Twilight. Big Mac came charging until he came to a 4-way intersection. He looked around, listened for his sister's screams of panic, and followed. In the lobby, 3 parties came together at once. "Shiny?" Twilight asked. "Twily!" Shining said. Help! I am not a changeling!
"Get away from my sister!"
Big Mac yelled. It was a melee. Twilight was trying to catch Rarity while stopping Shining Armor from killing Applejack. Shining Armor was trying to kill Applejack. Big Mac was trying to kill Shining Armor for trying to kill Applejack, and poor Rarity was trying to slip away. By now, every civilian had fled, leaving the group to battle. That is, until... "All right, every pony, stop!" A wave of magic crossed over the 5 ponies, stopping them dead. Twilight had a large shot charged up, aimed at Rarity. Shining Armor had his axe above his head, while Applejack cowered, and Big Mac was crouching to leap at Shining Armor. They turned to see a very unhappy-looking Cadence, standing next to an equally unhappy-looking Blue Blood, and a happy Pinky, who was munching on a box of popcorn. "Honestly, you're acting like children. Twilight, did you learn anything from the wedding?" "But Rarity couldn't answer anything about herself." "Really?" Cadence asked, eyeing the white unicorn. "I haven't paid the greatest bit of attention while others have been talking. That's not good, Rarity. It's polite to listen." She turned to her husband. "And honestly, Shiny, you were ready to disown Twilight when she tried interfering with your love life. Now you're trying to kill Twilight's partner?" Well, it wasn't a real axe. I was just gonna hurt her a little." "That's no excuse." She turned to Big Mac. "You can totally kick my husband's plot later." "Hey!" Cadence?" Twilight asked. "Don't give me that, Shiny. You were running around like an animal." "Cadence, you need to let me go now." "Twilight, I'm not done lecturing you. I'm just as unhappy as you." "Cadence, I'm about to drop my..." Too late. Twilight had been stopped when she had a spell charged up, and it hadn't faded. It had hung on Twilight's horn, and while it wasn't fired, it began to drop. Unfortunately, it wasn't any less powerful dropped. The 5 were blown in different directions, hitting different walls. They all struck walls, sending cracks along them. But as their vision cleared, they all saw the hole in the floor the spell had caused. They saw into the hotel's underground basement. They saw all the equipment sitting down in it, making it clear it had been lived in. And they saw the creatures that were previously operating them. the same creatures that were now crawling out of it.
Well,
Chrysalis said, as her changelings surrounded her.
look who finally found us.
To be continued. Hey there, thanks for watching my video, I really appreciate it. If you'd like, you can check out some of the other videos I've done via the links provided here. Also, if you're interested, you can follow me on Twitter, support me on Patreon, subscribe to my channel, or take a look at some information about commissioning me for audio, video, and writing assistance or editing. And if you're just sick of me in general, just follow that recommended video link to somebody entirely different. Bye bye for now, and I hope you have a wonderful day.